as in astrology, which comes from this region. I now think in terms of, the 12th house of death. At this point, each of the identities in my system, there is a character that has a name, that has a lineage. And I would like, with my work, to build the kind of music that says, hooray for God, hooray for existence, and hooray for different experiences. And that in my system, there's hope in every direction. And more and more, I talk in terms of what I call navigation through space, navigation through the structure, navigation through life, navigation based on attraction, repulsion, sonic connection, and I feel that this way of looking at material is consistent with the fundamentals in this time period and in the past. And so yes, the answer to your question is the 12 sonic constructs that I have just demonstrated are in fact, you could look at it as the 12 major colors. And from that point, the artist seeks to paint a picture. Yes, sir.
Do you believe that your 12 elements are sufficient for all the sonic experiences that a human can have?
No, but well, let me repeat your question. Your question is for the people who might not have heard it in the back. How effective are the 12 constructs for me as far as can I express all what I need to express with the 12 constructs? I have found that, yes, for instance, sub-identity gives me memory. With a sub-identity, I can define some motivic anything and use that as a basis for target manipulations or conceptual manipulations. I should also say, when I talk of the 12 constructs of my music, in fact, everyone does it anyway. John Coltrane, his sheets of sound would be an example of a particular aspect of language number 2. Eric Dolphy, babadum bil do il do badum do you bil do pop bil do bil do bil do babadum bil do intervallic logics. Even Frank Sinatra, at some point his work can be analyzed under the same 12 constructs. The understanding being that I found for myself that the serial processes, that is, strict system, was interesting or not interesting, but in the end, it did not satisfy my need, because as an instrumentalist, coming from a trans-African American mindset, I needed to have a context of fundamentals that could give me the possibility to make a quick decision on the moment, in the same way that Johann Sebastian Bach was an improviser who also wrote some of his music out, and he was also a theorist. At this point in time, I would say yes, the 12 constructs is working for me. About 10 years ago, I talked only in terms of 10 constructs. And something was missing. Something was missing. Oh, there's something I'm not understanding here. And I came to see that, in fact, to play traditional composition, in fact, that was sub-identity, and that was missing. I didn't realize 10 years ago that, in fact, my system was not complete. And so for your question, I would say, at this point, I think it's complete, but probably next year, I'll say, oh, I just discovered something else, so I have to change again. But at this point, I'm holding.
I have some questions combined with each other. First, from your words, I understand that you don't think today one can't make melodic or tonal music, is that right?
No. I have a great appreciation for tonality and for traditional music. I would only qualify that to say there are other ways now to use that same information. For instance, in this time period, we can program a synthesizer, computer, with a pitch set, push the button, and it just goes. And this is something different, because we did not have this possibility 30 years ago. I love the tradition, but for me, I can say, well, in the 12th house, sub-identity formings, I can look at motivic ideas, I can use memory, and I can work from clay or colors and fashion something hopefully fresh. But I'll let you, you had another question.
Yes. So what do you think about the attitude of the people towards the contemporary atonal avant-garde music that hasn't probably changed for 40 years? Like when I play something contemporary atonal like this at home, they say, well, that was nice, but can't you play something beautiful now?
For me, I feel very close to you. You should come to New York. They said the same thing. The challenge of creative music is universal. The same problems in Europe, the same problems in America. I see this problem as part of the complexities of modernity. For myself, as a young man, I thought, yes, I work on the music, I work, and now I'm going to go make a record, and when the record comes out, everybody will like it, I will make millions of dollars, I'll be very happy. And so the record came out, everyone said, and it was at that point that I found myself thinking, well, I remember going to see John Coltrane playing in Chicago, and in this time period, we never talk about this. In this time period, everyone loves John Coltrane. But in 1964, before Mr. Coltrane passed, before he died, people were leaving the club in droves. They would come to see Mr. Coltrane and look to hear the kind of music Mr. Coltrane played with Miles Davis, or maybe they wanted to hear My Favorite Things. And so they would come to the club and Mr. Coltrane's like, and so people were leaving. And it has not changed. For me, I say, okay, that's all right. If you play the music to make money, you'll find out very soon that you must go to another music. If you play the music because you want everyone to like you, well, you will move on to another music, because people are not programmed or exposed to this area of the music. And even if they were, they still might hate it. Roscoe Mitchell put it in he talked about this in a very beautiful way. And at Wesleyan University, where I teach, I ask my students, why are you playing music? If you're I hope to have 20, 30 new CDs of Turkish musicians, and I will just listen to that. And so it just depends on the person. Each person must make a decision about which way to go.
So you're talking about coalitions. Coalitions about listening or making music.
What do I think of coalitions?
Well, coalitions of all types of music forms the whole circle.
Yes,
like
yes, I agree with that. And this is why I try to talk in terms of similarities and differences. I think that's very nice. I do not, for instance, when I talk of world music, I do not mean, oh, we stop all French music, we stop all African music, we stop all Finland music and come together just for one music. That to me is not so interesting. I like the unique domains as well as the middle. It's like I would not want to eat chicken every day. I love chicken, but not every day. Some days I prefer something else. This kind of thing. For me, to only be interested in improvised music is akin to only eating chicken. But for the people who are only interested in improvised music, well, they would say, well, but chicken, there's a lot of different kinds of things in the chicken. And he or she would be right. I do not in any way mean to disrespect any other approach. Question. I'm really sorry for my language, people. I hope I'm not talking too fast. Yes, sir.
Being unfortunate for being a latecomer, I was present at the beginning, and my question does not overlap with another question, but I want to ask, what do you think about the how much should self-expression relate to communication? Because and you think wider acceptance of some form of music or composition puts down that kind of, that type of music. Like for example, when people say like Round Midnight is a great tune, and would you start thinking that, well, after all, it's not really expressive or anything, because like a lot of people like it.
Thank you for your question. For me, I like Round Midnight too. And for those occasions where there's a possibility to play Round Midnight, I try to play it, but I try to play it and look for something that's mine inside of it and to play it my way. But life, being life, you can still play round about midnight and someone will say, oh, I don't like it anyway. So I think your question is, what about the traditional materials? Is it relevant anymore or not? For me, I say yes, the tradition is always relevant. But because we have the tradition, it does not necessarily imply that we should not continue to evolve. Each generation